So I'm Myles. I've been around for a while. I like to break stuff and help organize things. I like to make bad decisions also, which usually involves all of those things. I helped run DevOps Days Boston. If you were attended, I was one of the people up on stage. Anyway, this is me, my talk. Deploying software is hard. If you work in operations, if you work in development, you likely know that's true. So this is my story. I work for Bluebox. I accidentally work for IBM now. They acquired us just over a year ago. I joined a startup that was maybe 60 people, and it was 5 of us working on OpenStack. That's our product. We do OpenStack as a service, which basically means we manage it for you, because if anybody has tried to deploy OpenStack on their own, you can probably get it up and running, but you probably can't manage it. So that's what we do instead. We do dedicated on-premises. We started the project in October 2013, but previously we had done managed hosting. We did our own cloud offering. It was an interesting time. The company had been around for about 16 years prior to that. I joined in June 2014. We brought on a bunch more people after the fact, and it was pretty fun. So, what's this really about? 3 things. So, people, process, tools. I'm certain everybody has heard that before. It is not that a new concept, which is exactly the point. We're not trying to innovate in this space. We're trying to execute, and that's how you get acquired, accidentally, unless you're the founder. So for us, it came down to reliable people, as we said, a solid process. So what I mean by solid is that every single person involved in the deployment, in engineering, they understand end-to-end how something gets completed. And with our tools, we're always improving them. If operations has a problem, if it's difficult to do something, that's a bug. We take the Logstash, the Elk approach of, if this is not intuitive, that's a bug. We should fix that. The process itself should be mostly self-explanatory. It's been interesting to see how that's evolved, especially as we've scaled our team. So going from the 5 of us working on OpenStack, or 2 of us at one point, to I think we have over 200 people within operations and engineering now around OpenStack with IBM. So these are some of the people I work with. Chris Wheeler, he's our ops team lead. He came from IBM. At first, we really disliked him because of that. Turns out he actually knows a ton of stuff, and he has tons of connections. That's super useful when you get acquired by a company. So he knows how things work. He knows backdoors. So as you're talking about doing things for friends, sometimes in an enterprise, that's the only way to make progress. The other thing is he always delivers. He's reliable. That's huge. You need to be able to count on people to come through, and not just for him, but his team, and how he manages those priorities. Oh, wrong button. There we go. Ulysses, he came from Bluebox. Then he started in 2012. So he has the history. He understands the old tools we had and where those came from, why they were developed, and all the problems with them that we have not fixed over the years. So when something blows up, I can go to him and talk about, hey, what's going on here? This makes no sense. And he's like, well, it makes sense if you know about this context and this customer that we had who paid us a large sum of money because they wanted this thing done. Oh, okay. I guess you're right. Again, he always delivers. We can trust him. Sina, he's our awesome guy down under. He runs second shift. I spend way too much time with this guy because I work into the night too much. But he makes sure that all the developments, and like if we start a deployment for an OpenStack cluster midday, for some reason, have to get it out, we've got SLAs, he will lead the shift taking over and continuing pushing that out. It's not a fully automated process, but it's good enough where we've got over 100 OpenStack clusters around the world, and I think 16 data centers now that we're all managing with a team of, 30 operations engineers and probably 15 to 20 specific core OpenStack engineers. So everybody else is working on other stuff. Again, he's from IBM. He got hired into our stuff, but he's an OpenStack expert. That's key for us because we're trying to figure out, okay, what are the weak points that each person has and each team has? How do we fill those? We fill those with people. Jesse Keating is our OpenStack engineering team lead, OpenStack expert. That's what he does. He kind of hates his job because he's team lead now. That's his role. He has to be in meetings. He deals with our priorities. And this is his PR reviewing face. I've literally seen this face when I've seen him in the Seattle office. It's actually quite fantastic. Paul Rakowski is currently my team lead. He really loves to cook. So it's really funny. If he gets frustrated, he'll just go drop offline and go cooking, and I'll do a competition for the weekend or something. He ships POCs faster than I can cry. This is a true story where I'll say, hey, we should do this thing, and he'll have code for it in a couple hours. And be like, that code is horrible. We can't run that, but it works. Okay, you're not right. I mean, you are right, but he's also my team's poop umbrella. I'm assuming anybody else here has those. They are wonderful people that subject themselves to horrible conditions generally, and so many more. I do not have a picture of every person. I actually now have a goal of that, of everyone I work with. When I get the chance to see them, I'm going to try and take a photo with that person and do stuff. So our process. IBM is going to IBM, and that slide got messed up. Darn. Compliance is hard. That's basically what IBM sells. Compliance and custom solutions to solve your business need. Silos make auditors really, really happy. They're constantly telling us that we're doing something wrong because we don't have enough separation between development and operations. We need to go through change control. Everything should be a ticket. That doesn't work. The handoff time within a deployment pipeline is not fast enough for us. So every opportunity that we've had, we automate that. Products go to die in tickets and in handoffs. That's our fundamental belief as a startup that we brought into IBM and will always fight for. Previously, they escalated all the problems. So every team who consumed from us would escalate to their manager if we didn't hit their SLA on the dot. We're slowly trying to change that culture around it, but also trying to improve our own buffers and our own timelines. So we're promising them something we can actually deliver. Every single deployment for a while was a firefight because we went from our own data centers where we had all this automation to writing new automation in SoftLayer, a bunch of other stuff. It wasn't working. So we basically said, screw that. IBM is going to be IBM. Let's ignore it. And we're going to continue being Bluebox. So we overcame the silos of communication, specifically meaning we talk to people. If you're not talking to people, you're not doing your job. That's basically what we're here for. Code is actually a byproduct of what we're doing every day, communicating with people. It makes that job faster. So engineers, operators, product engineers, support engineers, all these things that I listed, all of those people should be talking end to end. I mean, the customer experience at the end of the day is what gets them to pay you money, and that's what you care about, because that's how you survive as a business. Startups get that, IBM sometimes doesn't. So OpenStack, how do we get that features from product? They tell us what to do. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. We get defects from ops. We have to cut releases quarterly, again, because of compliance. So it's interesting with their team, OpenStack. It's a quarterly release cycle. It's kind of terrible. We're trying to get away from it. Site controller team, I'll tell you about next. We do continuous integration and delivery and deployment, but that's all managed by us. It's a little bit interesting. So they write all their own monitoring checks. They're the ones who know the stack. They have to consume it, and we want them, with their knowledge, telling operations what to do. They do all the logging configurations, making sure this file is getting picked up, all that stuff. We do all of our compliance with server spec, which integrates directly into Sensu and runs hourly. So we have real-time compliance monitoring with our systems. It's actually pretty cool. I'd love to talk about it if anybody wants to later on. And I work for Site Controller. We have to deploy OpenStack fully offline in hostile data centers, meaning we don't actually get an internet connection. So how do you do that? If nobody's ever done that before, with any type of software fully offline, it's kind of crazy. So we proxy mirror everything. We provide the pipelines for monitoring, alerting, logging. We don't write all the checks for those, but we make sure that that system's up and running for them. Basically, we're the back-end data center infrastructure that you need anywhere in the world to run your product. We provide the bastions. We sort of spy on everybody. We actually have a tool called TTY Spy that as soon as you SSH in, we force you through it, and every single command, every single output of a command, we record into our own logging infrastructure. It's actually kind of cool. We also provide a single pane of glass for operations. Previously, each data center had its own pane of glass, so operators had a really difficult time understanding correlated events across clusters. Now they can go to a single Sensu, a single web page that lists everything per data center, or also roll-ups. It's really cool. Ops, they are IBM. We need the separation here, so they update all the things. The interesting thing is when deployments break, because they always do. We are engineers, we write bugs. I'm sorry. This may be a new concept for some people. I'll be first to admit it. We pull in engineering. This is not a thing that IBM used to do. They would throw code over the wall. Operations would deploy it and run it. Our direct response is no, get an engineer on the phone. If they have to wake them up in the middle of the night because we're deploying, that is a problem. We need to fix that in our process. We need to fix that in our code. So we handle everything like that. Because of our tight SLAs for customers, we consider it an inability to deploy as an SLA problem for that customer. They're tier 1 and 2 for all of our stuff, which is actually really nice. They're godsend. I don't think them nearly enough for that. But we try to make sure that every time we do alert them, it's got to be actionable. If it isn't actionable on their side, they escalate to us, which then means it's our problem to deal with it. And we probably shouldn't have that alert, so make sure you remove it. We fix the issues together, pairing constantly. We use TMUX like crazy. If you're not pairing with your engineers in TMUX, you probably should be. We're a distributed team. It's fantastic to do that. You want to solve those challenges of communicating knowledge. It's all tribal knowledge, even if it's written in documentation. The context and the understanding is what matters. Ops also has the knowledge of hardware, specifically like Chris Wheeler coming from SoftLayer. We've run into numerous issues because of that, and he has the background. So tools, what do we actually do to get the job done? Slack, GitHub Enterprise, GitHub Ursula, which is our own custom fork. Not necessarily of Ansible specifically, but Ursula is open source. It's all of our roles for deploying OpenStack. You're more than welcome to take a look at it. We're really opinionated on what we do, and I would love to talk about this. I also run Ansible Boston, so let's chat later. We use Ansible like crazy, phone calls, Trello, and I have a bunch of other stuff at the bottom. Number 1,000 on the bottom of the list is IBM Notes, because we have to communicate with people somehow, and that happens to be our email platform. It's still on the list. We do still use it when we have to. But really what I'm trying to say is, above all else, the team matters most. You're all in together, you're all unified in a single goal, and delivering that as a team, as a combined unit. That's how you get software shipped. So have fun, let's ship something great. These are my guys who I manage on Site Controller, and want to chat more? Let's grab coffee. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome.